This is an original piece created by Eleanor Paynter. It's one of her poems, and the crew of actors here, we've cut up the poem and made it into a theatrical piece for your enjoyment, and it represents some raw young talent, and I hope you enjoy it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can you just hear me if I talk like this?
Yes.
Thank you so much for being here tonight. What you're about to hear is the premiere of this poem being brought to life. So I'm really excited about it, and I'm excited to hear your response to it as well. Our hope is for you to experience the piece, let it resonate, and so I'm not going to explain it very much ahead of time, but I do kind of want to set it up for you since you're not looking at it on the page. Perhaps it's appropriate to hear it in a courtroom, given the title, An Interrogation. But this kind of questioning probably would never take place in an actual municipal building. Many of you probably know the constant state of unknown that exists when a loved one is deployed. We grasp at the smallest facts, bits of news, to reconstruct a world or worlds in our imagination. This poem takes place first in the mind, and also in Texas, and in Mosul, Iraq. And so, interrogation indicates this internal dialogue, represented here in multiple voices, as well as an imagined conversation between siblings, one home, one deployed. I'm going to leave it at that and welcome you to witness an interrogation.
When you sleep in the palace, I count imaginary explosions.
When you wake between hours, look out at sand become sky.
Become an inverse of dark.
When you unlace your boots.
When I try to write this scene,
How unlikely.
When you see night, sun spades across my window.
When I am always asking,
1 sheep,
Two
2
sheep,
sheep,
3
sheep.
4. When does the mind turn?
when tent flaps, tent pegs,
Bunker down now.
when gold flecks trim mosaic dreams,
When you realize how much.
Is uncertain.
When you reach out for evaporates.
When sieve this part through the hourglass.
Sheep, green sheep, white sheep, red.
when you left an address of numbers,
when you left,
Syrup drizzled stacks in an I-45 diner and parking lot goodbye.
when you left to make death with your hands,
When I thought about locking you in the men's room. When that was breakfast. When could I say, could you stay?
when,
I have lost.
The date,
9:30.
when you left. Imagine sand and shrapnel, when swept. If
Wait.
when,
open the letter,
when,
Take the postcard to the mirror.
when,
Don't reread the postcard.
when you write,
Don't write.
write,
Desert spreads a plain of hidden waters. If you're not born here, you have a false sense of yearning. You wonder, tick off days. How many times could you refill the hourglass? Everywhere sand blown over asphalt, through palace arches. How deep, how long?
when whatever wakes you,
when rats crawl through holes in the great room floor and into your shoes, sleep.
This.
when soccer game makes gun barrel happy,
When you didn't know there was anything to celebrate.
when the presidential residence was bombed again, the army moved in to rebuild. This is all the information I could
find, except for one clip on amenities.
Coca-Cola.
Flat screen. Rat traps.
Plugs.
When your company name on YouTube.
16 videos and Caliber soundtrack.
Phones on ringing for weeks.
When the palace pool made the papers, it still held water. You wrote once it had to be emptied.
When the urge to call you,
Usually Sunday.
but
What?
and
What phone?
when I ask, is it clear? I'm trying to know into this north.
When,
No answer.
No answer.
when one thing, again, the inverse of another.
When load implies unload.
And reload.
So undo.
When
pray.
Unfold.
When pray.
Always.
Unsleep.
Sand deep.
Road heap.
Can't.
Considering the absence of the familiar sparrow,
When pretend.
When press, unpress a button.
When who called this paradise?
When who said any of this was okay?
When
I'd like a word, please.
I'd
like to speak to your God now.
when we didn't say, when you couldn't tell.
We first came here disguised as water, slipped secrets into the dunes, which is why sometimes a soldier here dreams mud, confused between dry air and tank turrets. We were never here to shoot raindrops. It's been raining all month in this desert. Some of us still haven't seen the river.
When I regret, my head fills with the silt.
When memory tugs.
When fight off cerebral.
When PlayStation, fried chicken, white flags.
I've done nothing. Have I?
Then beauty. A soldier in BDUs turns his holster toward the mirror.
Then fear. The people who count keep lists of bodies and truths with various degrees of irrevocable.
When
yes,
I know why you're there. I'm aware. I'm losing track of your secrets.
When,
Curfew.
when,
Good.
when.
Kiss your wife.
City of Two Springs.
When in the last June rain, red-coated cars, the cabbie explained, was the desert pouring down, but it wasn't your sand.
When you answer.
When the hour is finished,
Turn it over.
When is the substitute for if.
When home under the helmet.
When, or maybe I'm asking,
who will you be when you've done what you've done?
why have I been writing letters to the hereafter?
Which history are you in? And is there a history you hide from or holds you?
When something is certain,
Steel on skin, sand on chin.
When I secretly admired the camouflage tucked into your boots.
When means
Consequence.
When consequence is a consequence of consequence.
When sandstorm protocol. And what is
what's
the word for this?
this?
When speak.
Sawafi.
Eyes closed.
When I want to ask the numbers.
when in the place you lie, called paradise, sand splits open to green. Pearl of the North, I've read of your springs. I've wandered into the linking point.
Have I glorified the soldier?
Who sleeps unwanting desert.
Who's paying?
Which cloud?
Erupted into one singe, two singe, three singe.
Score.
When words are insufficient.
Keep writing.
When the word isn't right.
Pain.
Burned.
Pain.
Pieces.
Pain.
Shock.
Pain.
See
unfolding.
When the hour is finished, the sky sheer.
But I sleep the marble halls of Oasis, have seen the river touch 1,000 answers. Yes, I recognize the histories. Can I admit, afraid to listen? You know these grains hold the river like the past and passing. Is it a history of shifting dunes, sudden verdure? A history of eyelids, of prayers, of footsteps. Welcome to the history of bullets, man-made clouds. Welcome to the sheep I sleep into.
When you start to count the days, they say you've lost it.
when that was my voice up there? When could I ever know what you'd say?
When is after.
When and unrecountable.
When you call,
Night shift.
when I wonder where you shave, razor colored, tiled wall or tilted mirror, of nostalgia, of unnumbered last glances, and
How hot, which bullets, who fires, and
that would undo all of this and have done nothing.
When I begin to multiply your boots.
When dude, when moon.
When duty.
When days haze,
Sheep sleep.
boom room,
Humdrum.
tongue shunned, say it.
Say it.
when.
Amen.
When you call him on the road again, another visit home, near that diner. What can I say?
When duty.
I watch the news.
I vote.
I move your picture among the cards on my desk.
There came a point when I stopped asking.
When to say when.
Say it.
Say when.
Original music in here by Jonathan Billy, but thank you for sitting here for that.